What is up, traders? What's up, tycoons? Super excited for today's video. We got to talk about a stock that I haven't done a video on in a little bit, right? We're talking about Palantir today, ticker symbol PLTR. This is one of my favorites to trade. I really like this company a lot, and we're going to break down, what I'm seeing on the charts and what the charts are telling us. And it looks very good for the end of the year. There's lots of big catalysts that's been going on with Palantir, especially around their earnings. They're doing $1 billion buyback program, and they're also looking for S&P 500 inclusion. We're going to dive into the charts and see what they have to tell us. So be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, and we're going to get straight into it. We can see here, basically what I'm tracking overall is going to be a 5-wave structure to the upside, and we're looking for this gap fill up, right? That's what these blue boxes are. There's a gap up on Palantir right up here to about $24. And there's also a gap down to about 787 that we do need to be cautious of and be careful of. But ultimately, right now, the structure that I'm seeing is a 5-wave structure to the upside that will take us there. And, originally we had our wave 3 targets right around here, right around $18, $19. Palantir was able to surpass that. And we're getting our wave 4 correction right now. Your wave 4 should be what's known as an ABC correction. So, if that wanted to retrace and have an ABC retracement, okay, correction down to the 61.8% fib, that's going to bring Palantir right around $12.24. Now, I'm not sure if we're actually going to go that low. That's just a projection for a 60. That's, right around your golden pocket here. But, if we wanted to, right, and if we actually zoom in just a little bit more, we can see that there kind of is already an ABC structure, right? And, if we take a look here, 1 down, 2 up, 3 down, it's very possible that this was our ABC and that the bottom was already in, bouncing off of the 50% retracement here at 1377. Now, we can't know everything for sure. We can't predict the future, but, we can use our technical analysis to help give us some insight. So, we're going to assume that the bottom's not in at the moment and that this was our A wave down to the 50% retracement. And now we're getting a B wave up. This B wave up can still extend higher before getting our correction to the downside. So we'll see what has to happen. All of these purple lines right here, these are actually anchored VWAPs. And what we have them anchored to is the high. So we have it anchored to, the cycle high, the wave 3 high right here. You can see price, this has been acting as resistance, right? The anchored VWAP from those highs has been a selling point. Now, why are we using anchored VWAPs instead of moving averages? Well, big institutions, market makers, hedge funds, they tend to buy and sell at these anchored VWAPs. Okay. So, these are really important parts. Then we have the rest of our anchored VWAPs are related to earnings, the other 3 anchored VWAPs here. So you can see, from its original gap up from earnings, back in February in the beginning of the year, you can see that we're trading above that anchored VWAP right here. And from its earnings before that in May, right, we're also trading above that here, right? It acted as a nice support on the Friday close of September 1st. And now we're kind of sandwiched in between, right? I mean, if you look, we're basically sandwiched in between the anchored VWAPs of the high, anchored VWAP from the last earnings, and then the anchored VWAP from the previous 2 earnings before. So, we're squeezing it right here, and price action is going to make a decision soon if it's going to break out to the upside or break out to the downside of these anchored VWAPs. Notice how this, anchored VWAP from the February earnings is creeping up and curling up towards that 50% retracement level. So if we do come back down, there's going to be a lot of support and a lot of buyers potentially at that 1377 level. But ultimately, we know that it can still pull back to 1224. Now, if it does happen to break 1224, we have 1035. That's going to be another support area here. And if we end up breaking through 1035, then it's a very strong chance that, we could actually fill the gap to the downside. But I think that right around $12 is going to be, the potential bottom if we do come down, on Palantir and break through some of these lows, break through that 1377 support. I do expect a lot of buyers to start being present in between, this $12 price range and this 1035 price range. And ultimately, again, we're looking for the move up to take us to fill the gap up here right around $24, right? Wave 5 should come up to about $25. It may fall a little bit short. It may go a little bit higher, but ultimately that wave 5 also lines up with the gap fill up here to about $24. Now, in a little bit more of the short term, what are we seeing in the price action, right? Well, we're seeing on our MACD indicator, we're getting, this white crossover here. Okay. When this white line crosses above, that's typically known as a buy signal. You can see here, we got a bullish crossover on the MACD, and it was followed by some nice price action to the upside. Here, we got another bullish crossover on the MACD, followed by some nice price action to the upside. Here, we got a bullish crossover on the MACD, again, followed by some nice price action to the upside. And the big question is now, are we getting a bullish crossover here, or is this really just hugging and kissing this and going to curl back down, right? If this ends up curling back down and the white line curls back down below the red line, then that's probably when we're going to see our wave C targets start to hit. And if this thing can curl back above, it's very possible that we got our ABC correction here, and we're going to continue pushing higher, looking to get above our anchored VWAPs from the highs and also from its most recent earning reports, right? We do have a little bit of this bearish channel. This was a bearish divergence, that helped bring price action down. So take a look at how price is making higher highs here. Price is making lower highs here. We have a little bit of a, channel right here, a broadening channel. And ultimately, we're going to be looking to break out of this, right? A lot of times when you break bearish divergence trend lines, and break a bearish divergence on the RSI, it ends up coinciding very well with a breakout in the price action of the stock. Now, we do have to go over some of the bearish scenarios, right? We talked about that gap fill, but let's go ahead and take a look at this, right? What if this is actually forming a head and shoulders here at the moment, right? Let me draw these with a permanent line real quick so you can see, we have a left shoulder, we have a head, and then we have potentially a right shoulder trying to form here, in this area. That's what we're going to look out for in something that we need to be cautious of, right? If this ends up forming a head and shoulder, then this right here is going to be our neckline for that head and shoulder. And if we break through there again, that's going to take us down here to the 764 retracement, which is going to be around 1035, right? That's right where, this pattern would have began essentially, and it'll take you back down to there. So we do need to be cautious of that. We do need to watch out for that. That's something, to pay attention to. Another thing someone could say is that this is a bear pennant forming, a little bit of a bear pennant, bear flag, whatever you want to call it. See if I can draw this a little bit better for you guys, but, here we go. This is what we've got here at the moment. And, if we do get the breakdown, again, that'll take us lower towards that 1035 or that 1224 area. But these are areas that I'm going to be really excited about if price action goes down here. The risk to reward ratio is going to go up tremendously, if we do end up coming down here, right? If we're at 1035, okay, and we're looking, and we'll just throw a simple risk to reward on. If I can click on the right tool real quick, that would be useful. So look, from 1035, we have a stop loss here, and we'll put it above the gap because, if we come down to the gap, most likely that gap's going to fill. We'll put it like just in a little bit of the gap here. And just coming back up to our level here of 1530, that's a 2.6 risk to reward ratio. And then targeting the wave 5 highs and the gap fill to the upside, that's a 7-to-1 risk to reward ratio, right? So, very, very nice risk to reward ratio. If we were to skew this up and, come here towards our 61.8% retracement level, right around 1224, that's still a really nice risk to reward ratio of about 3. Again, so, you're risking essentially $1 to potentially make $3 at this area and at these price levels. So the risk to reward standpoint gets a lot more favorable, if we do actually get an extended C wave to the downside and this wasn't an ABC. So, while I'm not hoping and wishing for Palantir to tank or see some massive drop, it does present more favorable trading opportunities at those levels and at those prices from a risk to reward standpoint versus if you look at where price action is today and where price action closed, it's basically a 1-to-1 ratio, with a stop loss all the way down here. Now, of course, you can drag your stop loss up, once you're above these levels, and you can put it at the 61.8. That gives you a nice risk to reward. You can put it up to here at your 50% retracement. That gives you a 5.83 risk to reward ratio. So, there's different ways to play around with it. and measure it. But overall, I'm really liking the setup that I'm seeing on Palantir. And if we zoom out a little bit, you can see this is that gap here. If we were to throw a simple 5-day moving average on, okay, and just take a look here. This is something that's really useful. It's going to hug the price action fairly tight. And you can see once we're trading above it, that's when price action is bullish. We're trading below it. That's when price action is bearish. Trading above it, we're bullish here. We come down, we're bearish below it. We cross back up above, stays bullish. And most recently, what we've done is, if we zoom in here some more, again, we're really squeezing on the price action right now. So we did close below it here, okay, on the Friday close, and it also 5-day moving average lined up with our anchored VWAP from the most recent earnings reaction. So lots of resistance there, also resistance at that 1530 level. It makes a lot of sense that on a holiday weekend on Friday that we didn't see any strong price action really to go through to the upside or break down to the downside either, right? We're really hugging in between some anchored VWAPs and simple moving averages and some key levels of resistance at the moment. So that's pretty much my take on Palantir now at the moment. Let me know what you guys' thoughts are down below. Are you guys bullish on Palantir? Are you guys bearish? Do you think it's a meme stock and this thing is going to zero, not worth anything? Or, do you think that this is a really good opportunity and something that people should consider to adding to their portfolio?